Hello guys, welcome to Aspiring Architect. Hope you're doing fine. So today we're going to discuss about variables in Python. This is the first course in the Python series. Hope you like it. So let's proceed further. So I'm using an IDE called as the Python Charm. You can install it from the browser, any browser. You can just download the community edition. Maybe I'll do a video about it too on how to maybe install. Let me know in the comment section if that is required. So let's head on to the topic, which is variables. So before we actually understand variables, we first want to understand the data types in Python. So what are data types? You have the string, and then you have the integer, and then you have float, and then you have Boolean. Okay, so these are all the data types in Python. So pretty simple, right? So what is a string? String is anything which you put in the quotation marks. Maybe it is like hello, how are you? So when you're putting something in the quotation mark for Python, this is not something for it to understand. So the moment you put in something in the quotation mark, it says, okay, this is for another human to read. So that is how Python is, right? So whenever you want to input something via string for a variable or text, you just put it in quotations. And then you have integers. It's just a number, example 3. And then you have a float, which is like a decimal. The reason why integer and a float are different in Python is because float uses a little more space than integer to save something. So that is the reason you have float and integer as two different data types. And then you have the Boolean type. So Boolean is either true or false. That is it. And you want to be very careful with the case sensitivity. Python is a case sensitive language, so it it should be how it is, how it should be, right? So let's head on to the console. Okay, so let's discuss now about variables. So what is a variable? Simply put, variable you can think as it is a box or maybe a storage container where you can store something, right? You have your box, you put in your video game CDs or something. So in the same way, the storage box over here is a variable, and the CD or whatever you want to put in the box is nothing but it is the value which you want to assign to the storage container. I hope it's clear. So if you remember in mathematics algebra, you would say x is equal to 3, right? So what is x? X is a variable. What does x do? It is a storage container which stores the number 3. Okay, so it is now stored. X is now 3. You can even refer to the sidebar where it says x int 3. So Python is intelligent enough to understand what you are giving as input. The moment you say 3, it knows, oh, okay, this is an integer data type. And then do you think we can add this with any other number? So just say x plus 2. Let's see if how it works. Oh, so it is 5, right? 3 plus 2 is 5. So let's assign another value, y is equal to 2, and let's do x plus 5. Oh, which is cool, right? X plus y is equal to 5. Do you think we can change the value in the variable? So x is 3, right? So let's do x is equal to 1. Oh, so you can see the change over here. Now let's just do an x plus y 3, which is good, right? So I think we have understood what exactly a variable is, the basic concept. What is a variable? A storage container with a label in it. That's it. So let's head on to the Python main file. When I say main file, this is just where you write your script. So what we've seen so far is a console. In console, you get immediate output. In script, you have to tell Python to print something. So unless and until you say print, the console is not going to recognize. I mean, the uh, interpreter is not going to throw you any output when it is in a file or in a script. So let's go ahead and just say let's do few functions. So we have total underscore boys, and this is just an example. So this, let's say that there is a class. uh, we want to pick some few information, say from a class. So there is a class where the total number of boys in it is 30. Again, for integer you don't need to specify the inverted commas or quotations. And then you have, say, average height. This is, say, 5.5. And then you have, do they grow taller? So I think you have already guessed by now, this is a Boolean value, right? So you either give a true or a false. And again, the first letter should be in caps for Python to recognize that it is a Boolean value. And then let's give a last variable. Let's consider this to be a string. So we are going to give standard is equal to high school. So whenever you're entering in quotations, so for Python, it is for some humans to read and it doesn't care about what's inside. Okay. So let's first try to get the output. What do we do when you say print total underscore boys? Let's see how it gives the output. So you get 30, right? Because 30 is the value, total boys is the storage container. So 30 is inside the storage container. You say print total boys. So the output is 30. So this is how it works. So you could do the same way. You could say print standard or anything. And it should work as expected. Like it will give you the value which is stored in the container. So again, when you're writing code or when you're assigning variable, it's better that it's meaningful. So I could use C1 is equal to 30, right? But if someone tomorrow is coming and trying to read the code, he has no idea what C1 is. So we want to be sure that we are providing an actual variable. And again, there are no spaces in Python for variables. This is an important thing to remember. You can't say total space boys is equal to 30. You are going to get an error, because in Python for variables you cannot use spaces. You should give an underscore. So total underscore boys, average underscore height. And it is better to maintain small letters, as you can see what I did over here. So let's just go back to the Python console and let's try to see what we can do with the strings. So just say name is equal to Python, right? What am I missing here? This is a string, so we have to give it in quotations. So now this is entered. So the container name has Python value in it. You can see that it already says string. So Python is again very clever and intelligent, right? So it knows what you're passing in. You don't need to explicitly specify that you're passing a string. It knows. So now again, another point to remember, double quotes or single quotes are both the same. So you can either use double quotes for a string value, or you can even use single, or for that matter even you can use like three quotes. It doesn't matter, but I would say stick with one or two. So what happens when we try to print this, right? So we are on the console and we are no longer using the script. So you should get the output directly. You don't need to give print function. Okay, so you can now see it is giving you the output which is stored, which is Python. So let's proceed a little more ahead. Let's just say, what is Python? Python is a list of uh, alphabets, right? Python. So Python is going to assign each value to it like an array. So just remember it starts from 0. So 0 is P, 1 is Y, 2 is equal to 2, T is equal to 2, and so on. So that is how Python actually remembers it. So when you say name of 0, let's just see what happens. You can see P. So this is how arrays, or you can get an individual character in a particular string value. Python actually allows you to do it. So, and you can also use another function called as length. So this is more like an advanced, but I just wanted to show you, like, how cool Python is. So when you say length of name, you get 6. So python, that is 6 characters, right? Okay, so you can play around like me. I mean, it's better that you actually open your console and try these things out so that you can actually get a hang of it, right? When you practice is when you learn. If you are looking at my video and then you may, if you leave practicing, maybe you might forget it, right? So just try to play around. You can also try, like, say, name of, say, one, and I give a colon. So Python is going to take the character 1, which in our case is y, and it is going to continue from there to the end, so which is ython. So what happens if you actually say that, you want to add two characters? So just like how we did x plus 5 and there are like int values. So let's just say name is Python, so 3. So you get it, right? So Python 3.